The world's first lab for toddlers is open.
What?
Yes.
What are they studying?
Well, I'll tell. No, they are being
Hang
studied.
on. Is it lab? Are the toddlers scientists or are they studying toddlers?
They are studying toddlers.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Clickbait.
But this is how it's being. This is how it's being marketed. So it's called the Wolferson Toddler Lab. Wolferson. I'm sorry, not Wolferson. It's part of the Birkbeck University's Center for Brain and Cognitive Development, which I'm now going to be referring to as the CBCD. It's much shorter. And it's now open and operating in Torrington Square in London.
I know where that is. That's Birkbeck's attached to my uni. I used to go to Torrington Square all the time.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
That's where Student Services was. It was in Birkbeck.
Very good.
Sorry, yeah, go
We were a
on.
bunch of toddlers running about. Well,
No,
to be fair, this opened
No,
in
they were
2020.
uni students,
yeah.
but uni students and toddlers are mostly the same
It's
thing. It's
hard
just
to
one
tell,
set of them are
yeah.
allowed to drink.
Yeah.
Often they throw tantrums. They need constant naps. Hugs from mummy and daddy. You know, the usual.
Lots of crying and whining.
Don't want to go to school.
No. Very scared of school, yeah.
No. Its aim is to help researchers understand the early manifestations of autism and ADHD in children. So Birkbeck has been operating BabyLab since 1998, so over 20 years now, with scientists researching behavioral patterns of infants, both neurotypical and neurodivergent, babies that would later go on to be diagnosed with autism or ADHD. And it's shown how babies learn and come to understand the world by witnessing cause and effect scenarios. So that's just background. They've done BabyLab for 20 years and they've decided they're going to expand to toddlers. They're
Can't do
going
like
up in age.
adolescent lab.
AdLab.
No, you have to wait another 60 years or so.
We got
Yeah.
preteen lab coming. Well, no, because adolescent. No, we've got like.
Sorry, I
we've
forget
got
the
kid-
official name for all these different stages in life.
Oh, we got
Whatever is
kid lab.
between toddler and preteen.
We got kid lab.
Yeah, kid, I
Kid
guess.
lab.
Yeah,
And then that'll do you totally like you're about preteen, right?
Yeah, preteen
lab.
Yep.
Avoid teen lab altogether. Just
No.
studying teenagers.
You don't need
just,
to understand teens.
I just think it's not worth
It's impossible to
It's not
understand
worth
them.
the
No. You have to sink at least 2 centuries into that. So the CBCD has now expanded. For the first time, they are opening a lab specifically designed to study toddlers. And because, when you're a toddler, it's your first time, being your own social agent. So they want to figure out the earliest time period of a human being's life where they are like interacting with other people.
have
One
have
on one.
that independence.
Yeah, to have the independence to, perform socially. The lab situates toddlers, some neurotypical, some with autism, some with ADHD, into realistic simulations of common life, real places.
Like going to the bank.
We're going to the back.
Going to Sainsbury's.
Going
to work, hating your life, the usual.
We have to be sensible. These are toddlers. They're not going to be at the bank. They're going to be in classrooms. They've also got a farm setting. They've got a supermarket.
That's actually really interesting. I watched a documentary by Louis Theroux about, I think it was about autism, and they had like these like basically like sets to help people who with autism, like extreme autism, understand and learn how to, like, for example, go shopping in a safe environment that wasn't a real shop. And I just found that's really interesting. So it's
Yes.
I was joking that they're not sending these toddlers shopping, but actually they do that later in life.
So this is kind of a similar thing where they put them in the scenario without it being the real scenario, but they don't. This isn't necessarily with the aim to like coach the kids. It's to like just observe them and see how they act in those situations. This is done using sets and props, like creating realistic looking classrooms, tables, chairs, stationery. But they also use a virtual reality space called CAVE, which stands for Cave Automatic Virtual Environment. Now, the C in CAVE does stand for cave. I'm not sure why.
Sounds redundant.
Yeah.
What does the C in that cave stand for?
I honestly don't know. They didn't elaborate further.
Caves all the way down.
It's caves all the way down, exactly. Which it uses big screens, and it basically puts up realistic looking locations on the screens for the kids to look like they're on an actual farm.
Hang on.
Inside
How did
of
you
a
get
lab.
the first C?
Cave.
No, I don't
it's
know.
probably made by a company
I was really
called
hoping
Cave,
we wouldn't get stuck on this.
and they just wanted to. You were hoping that we wouldn't get stuck on this.
Yeah, I should.
This?
I knew. I had the thought. I was like, we're gonna get stuck in a little loop.
My question is ultimately how realistic, because toddlers are, I think we can all agree, kind of dumb, right? Kind of stupid.
Relatively
Relatively stupid.
Yeah, relatively.
Relative
Like,
to me, not so much.
Obviously depends who you are.
Yeah,
but a toddler, like for example, if you were to give them two different,
I hired a toddler to write this story.
and they've done a fantastic job.
They have, yeah.
Really up
Gold
the standard.
star, yeah, better than me.
So, a toddler, for example, wouldn't necessarily, if you were to give them two differently shaped glasses, and demonstrate that they had the same amount of water in them, and ask them which one has more water, they'd say the one that looks bigger.
Yeah.
Like toddlers are
The
dumb.
taller one, even if it's like ridiculously skinny.
Yeah, that's my point. Like toddlers are dumb, right? So
Yeah.
my question is, how realistic do these realistic environments need to be in order to trick a toddler into thinking that it's real?
Well, not very. They'll just put it up on a screen.
Hey, look, you're at a farm.
they're like, "Oh,
I'm
yeah."
at a farm. Wow.
Yeah, we walked in a building and now we're outside. I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah. What? There's no sun. Oh, okay.
if there's any toddlers watching, I hope you're enjoying being in the studio with us right now. Look at you. You're in the studio. Woo.
Go back to drawing on the walls or something. Okay.
Don't-
Shoot.
Don't do that. What if a toddler... Actually, no, draw on the walls.
Don't tell mum I said that.
Draw SCI Guys. Say, listen to SCI Guys. Write that on the walls.
YouTube.com/SciGuys. If you write that for your mum, you'll get extra dinner. Toddler Lab is equipped with wireless motion trackers that the kids wear on their heads and on. Basically, it's like a backpack,
Like a mocap
and
suit.
like not a full mocap suit, but it's like in a backpack that they wear. And then there's a head. There's like it's called a hairnet sensor. It basically just sits on the head. And it helps scan the blood flow in the brain as well. It means that the kids can run around in these environments completely untethered while they are quietly.
Wow, they get to be off the lead.
Yeah.
What I would have done is just had a wire that connects to the ceiling so they can, run around and stuff. But you've still got a wire there.
Like bumper cars.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, little dodgems, just the toddlers instead.
Collision between toddler 8 and 10. Please unstick them.
You just turn off the power and they all drop.
This means they can run around and the researchers can just observe them and what they're doing without, too much interference, and see how they interact with the world that is presented to them. The typical simulated location usually involves like a lot of social interaction. So like schools and farms, I guess you're interacting with animals. That's a form of social interaction.
You go to farms on school trips, I suppose.
Yeah. There are like it is a bunch of kids in the same lab as well. It's never just one by themselves. But just to see how they react to different kids, how they react with adults, teachers, and how they can adapt to different types of social interactions. The director of CBCD, Dr. Dennis Marshall. I hope not Marshall. It's like Marshall. Sorry. He says the lab will allow them to roam and behave as they would in the normal world. Having lots of children around brings out the difficulties these children have in engaging with others and how they are thinking and how they respond. So using the research, the lab will produce, they hope to be able to help parents understand their neurodivergent children, better identify like early signs of autism and ADHD in kids, and then long-term hopefully influence policy changes and shape how the healthcare and education sectors support kids with autism and stuff.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Education right now is so poor
Yeah.
in supporting like sort of neurodiverse students, and also parents not understanding the early signs. For example, how we spoke about vaccines before and about how people thought they caused autism because they get a vaccine and they notice signs of autism,
And it just so happens that those two dates usually correlate.
Yeah, it's just
Or
roughly
align,
the same
yeah.
age. Yeah. So understanding that more deeply would be really good. Although I can't get over the fact that the way that the head researcher was describing the toddlers, to me it sounded like they were raising free-range children.
Yeah, we'll just let them roam around.
Well, they are in a farm.
Yeah, we let them roam free, and then once they grow up, we just harvest them, and
We let them graze and just we keep them here 7 days a week, 24/7.
I think toddlers would be happy if you just let them, roam free on a little farm, right?
You just change the screens to like their home.
Yeah.
And they feel like they've gone home. Like you just keep them in the same room.
Wow, Flora is grassier than it usually is at home, but wow, I like it,
This opened up in London July last year. So it's relatively new, and hopefully we'll get some good research out of it.
I mean, I think we definitely need to change the way that we view. It's going to sound awful. I was going to say we definitely need to change the way that we view neurodivergent people, but to an extent that is true.
Sure.
Societally speaking,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just it'd be good, very good,
Yeah.
great story. Well done. A round of
Thank
applause.
you,
I
thank you
think.
for listening.
If you enjoyed that clip, head over to patreon.com/SciGuys where you can find the full show, or you can stay here and catch up on old SciGuys episodes.
Or you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at SCI GUYS Pod to find out when we're doing more live shows.